Hello, my creative friends, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Prompt of this optional viewing personal vlog entry where each Sunday I basically sort of give you my thoughts on the vlogging process, sort of pull it back rather than being about you and helping encourage you to take action. These are really more for me to just sort of, I can be able to, my goal is to be able to in the future look back one after the other of these Sunday sessions and really get a sense of where I'm at, how I felt like it went, see what the evolution of it is. Identify some sort of personal challenges and personal insights and all that kind of stuff along the way. Yesterday I talked about the sort of status update for the writer's room and for the system and how hasn't been a whole lot of volunteer action going on. So in today, I basically just want to talk about a little bit about that. This is the 10th personal vlog entry, which means this is the end of week 10 of doing this, which I'm still batching these, but I have not just the way the shape of the days have gone. I haven't done the whole week in one day. It's been spread over 3 days, which has been a bit stressful for the workload, for the other things that need to happen. One of the real sort of big challenges that I've had here is just this inability to sort of keep up with the ambition of the workload. In other words, so what I wanted to do was create the daily prompt, and then I wanted to take little clips from it and build these Instagram posts and build Facebook posts and create LinkedIn articles and sort of build and expand the social media. I wanted to turn this into a podcast, which still hasn't happened as of this recording. It's just the workload of it, which I had thought at this point that there would be enough sort of volunteers and people who could see what this is going to be, who would jump in and help out. I've had a bunch of help offers from people who, maybe started strong but faded away, which is fair enough. It's a lot that I'm asking for. A lot of reward in the end, I would hope, but still a lot to ask of people. So I don't in any way begrudge anybody who has offered to volunteer and then it just didn't sort of work out. We didn't align, or people that have not reached out but who still participate in the comments, or who are in general supportive of what I'm trying to do. I think the takeaway this week, or the sort of where I'm at this week, is I've had some personal things come up this week which are likely going to force me to put a pause on this. I'm probably still going to want to do a video a week, some sort of update each week. So whether it's the personal vlog entry or whether it's the status update Saturday, remains to be seen. But I will probably have to put this on hold, not because I want to. I really was committed to let's do this every single day, but there's just some sort of personal stuff happening that simply demands my time. And between that and between just the progression of this thing, sometimes you just sort of have to put your priorities where your priorities have to go. So along that line, as I think about the idea of doing what this show was originally intended to be, is like a, reality TV almost, of making movies and building an independent film studio, and me and the crazy characters in my life who are part of helping me build it. Because we don't have those people jumping on board, or we don't have people spreading this. We don't have, I can see in the analytics that there aren't many people who share these videos. There's not a whole lot of comments going on. Just because of that, it's just the virality of it is just not there. And so because of that, it's and it's inhibiting the growth of it. So it's making me just sort of look at it and I guess kind of assess it in starker terms and really say, okay, what am I doing or not doing? Like, what's the missing element of it? I'm not upset about it. I'm not depressed about it. Don't worry, I'm not as lamenty as I have been in the past. But I do think something's not right about my strategy or about how I'm rolling it out, or maybe I'm not delivering the content that writers want or that writers want and like enough to share. I don't know. I can't tell what that is. I made this change to sort of the themed days of the week. It makes much more sense to my mind. We're going to have techniques on more than just Tuesday. We're going to have mindset on more than just Monday. We're going to have answers to questions on more than just Wednesday. But by sort of separating that way, at least there's sort of a driving focus for each of those. I still think that's the way to go for this show while it's this, right? Once we get into what the show is meant to be, which is a daily prompt wherein we're watching the building of the indie film studio. You're watching the building of the indie film studio. Writers are already seeing it. This is the boring part. And, there's a reason you don't sort of have a behind the scenes where you watch a writer write, because they're basically just sitting there going, right? Like, that's not exactly entertaining viewing. But that's where we're at, right? So if we're in that development stage of all this, then that's kind of what it is and what it has to be. So I think one of the things I thought about this week was, I think when I started this, maybe the initial people watching those initial episodes, which let's not kid anybody, those were small numbers too. It's not like we've dramatically shrunk. We've sort of held consistent, maybe slight drop off, but it started small and it's remained small so far. But it's not like we had thousands of people watching and then it all just plummeted. It's like we're whispering and we're still whispering. But so the I lost my train of thought. I think the problem is that when you kick off something like this and you say, this is what we're going to try to do, and then it doesn't happen over the next couple of weeks, I think people go, is this ever going to happen? I've been around writing and developing story and writers for 2 decades now, and it just takes time. Like, it just does. It always amuses me when someone goes, fast screenplay takes a year? Oh, come on, I'm not into that. I'm like, man, you really have no clue how long this is going to take you without that, do you? It's like everybody wants the 3-week or the 3-month screenwriting course or a book that tells you how it's going to be a snap like that. It doesn't work. I really kind of in some ways feel like we're watching the same thing that I watched with people going through fast, where it's like you start strong and you want those instantaneous results. And rather than settle into what the system is, which is training you to just, just let it ride, man. Go 1 step per day. Keep going. If you just turn into the tortoise and the hare, no, if you just turn into the tortoise and you just sort of cruise your way through it, you're going to get there faster. The tortoise won in the end of that story, of that fable, right? The tortoise was faster. So anyway, so I think that's part of what's going on here. I don't know for sure, but that's my hunch. So it really has made me think about Plan B. Has made me think about how to go about this differently, and separate to the personal stuff that's come up that's possibly going to derail the the producing of these episodes. I've also been thinking about just what are some of the tactics that we can take. I really think if all I was trying to do was focus on making the one low/no budget film, which we'll talk about. I think I'm going to start talking about that, maybe even teasing what it's about and stuff like that over the next couple of weeks. I don't know. I don't want to get too excited. But I think if all I was doing that, I would do this very differently. Because I'm trying to build this bigger thing, I'm trying to juggle a lot of things at the same time, or spin a lot of plates, and it's like, okay, yeah, doing Instagram, doing Twitter, doing Facebook, doing LinkedIn, doing this, doing a podcast version of this, developing the project, developing multiple projects, helping the writers through fast, living a family life, personal stuff. It's it's totally doable, but I think it's totally doable with a team. And so there are advocates out there at the moment promoting this kind of an idea. So I'll just say it. Gary Vee was sort of an inspiration to me. I saw what Gary Vee was doing, and I thought, I need to do that. If I start doing that, that is the bridge. That's going to be the missing piece to what I've built so far and what I intend to build, and that will help me get there. The challenge is that he's got a whole lot of resources, got a huge team to do that, which I recognize is what I need. My thought was that it would initially come through volunteers and eventually grow to become something that can be paid. That will happen. Make no mistake, that will happen. That's going to happen here. There might be some roadblocks in the short term that I have to find other ways to navigate around. But I still see that as the way to get there. I still see that as the thing that's going to make this all happen. So in order to make it happen, I think it needs to be, I think the short term maybe needs to take a slight detour to get to where it needs to be. So possibly, for example, focusing on being just a bit more dedicated to promoting fast screenplay specifically through advertising channels, through getting in front of users who might be interested in it at that point. Right now, one of my sort of challenges is to create the show genuinely, to create the show authentically, and to legitimately be totally okay with people not joining fast, because you're here for other reasons, and to be okay with that, which I am. At the end of the day, there still needs to be people joining fast, right? So I've never really advertised fast. I've advertised it in a couple little screenwriting newsletters and stuff like that, but really never a fully sort of targeted, dedicated thing. And my thought is, at this point, if I focus on that, if I spend a little bit of time and energy really pushing that may bring in resources, not by asking viewers who may be here for other reasons, but by asking people who are in sync with it, aligned with what it does at this moment in time. That may be the way to bring in the resources. It's not. The problem is it's not really what this plan was, right? This plan was put this great idea out there, have that idea spread. People share it, people get excited about it, volunteers jump on board, we build it, and it really is genuinely bootstrapped. That's been the plan from day one. I mean, I feel like there's a certain point where you're like, you've been doing this for 10 years fast screenplay, 20 years the screenwriting thing. You've been trying to encourage writers to follow through and to go all the way through and to actually do it, so that we could make movies out of it, and they don't. and I keep trying 10 different things, right? I'll try this, I'll try this, I'll try this, encourage this. We had an inner circle group at one point. We had, tried different variations on how fast it gets released. We had, live workshops and just everything. And writers just haven't followed through. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the common denominator, man. Maybe I'm not doing it right. But I'm 100%. I've always been 100% convinced that it's there, and that it'll work, and that it's the right thing. It's the, it is the path. How do you get people on board? And maybe it just has to be much more of a just sell that thing over there and build this thing over here. So there may be a little bit more of that coming up, where this is less about fast, and it's really I really want this to be about the indie film studio. I don't really want it to be about fast. Fast is a mechanism through which the writers will go to get to be a part of this, to so that they have the skills to be able to be a part of this. But I've always wanted this to be more about the indie film studio. So it's just a challenge. It's just I maintain that the opportunity exists today that we can build the stuff from nothing. As I am attempting to build this stuff from nothing, it's not building quite right. So what does that mean? Why? There's trying to break that down. There's so many variables that I can't necessarily pinpoint where the weak link is. There is obviously one or more, but we'll figure it out. So anyway, I think I'm going to try to go that road to try to be a little bit more scientific and precise in the testing of it, and say, let's try this. Nope, doesn't work. Okay, try this. Nope, doesn't work. With a vlog, with something that I'm doing in the few minutes that I have each week. It's hard to test variables like that. It really is just like, hey, this is my personality. This is what I believe. These are the things that I want to share with you. Here you go. It's not about refining this to be some polished version of this, because that wouldn't be the vlog of it. That wouldn't be the real natural experience. There have been some people, particularly last week's personal entry. Some people are looking at what I was saying and sort of, making some suggestions and thinking about, I can't remember what it was now, but I maintain that it's important to do this series. I maintain that it's important to do this series daily. I maintain that it's important to persist with this, if for no other reason than when I build it. It's not an if, it's when I build it, this will exist. And so when I record the ups and downs of my emotions, or how I'm feeling about the stuff, or just, oh my God, this didn't work out, or whatever, I want to record those downs as well, so that from a legacy standpoint, when we look back on it after I've built what I'm building, we will see the ups and downs along the way. And a writer in the future, or you now, will look at the ups and downs and realize and recognize that, oh, ups and downs are a part of it. You can't build what I'm trying to build without struggle, without pain, without a really, really hard road. And, my road's been harder than most, maybe. I don't know. I mean, for how much effort I put into it and how little reward I've gotten out of it, it feels like a very hard road. I'm sure many people around the world have a much harder road than me. So I'm not comparing on that level, but we each can only sort of assess and evaluate our own journey, because we're all at different places and we have different starting points. And so the struggles are relative. But it's important, I think, for legacy purpose to have that. So please don't ever, worry for me or worry that I'm getting disheartened or whatever. Like, yes, I am, but that's part of it. And I'm persisting anyway. So I don't know about you, but I'm getting where I set out to go. Like, it's all going to happen. It may not happen the way that I had in mind at the beginning. It may not, I may not get there anytime soon. It may take way longer and people be so bored. All of you tune out of the show because, geez, how long is this going to take? This guy's a loser. It's like, okay. I mean, if that's, whatever. There have been a lot of people who started out watching. I can tell by the comments who've disappeared. Maybe they'll return at some point. Maybe they're just taking a break. Maybe they've got other stuff going on in their lives. I don't know. But I assume people are going to leave and maybe come back. Maybe. But it's my journey. I can't leave. I'm on it. Right? Similarly with your writing and your project. It's your journey. You're on it. Don't worry about who's there with you along the way. I mean, I welcome you. If I would love to have you, send me a comment and let me know you're here. If you haven't commented for a while, comment and let me know you're still here. But that's, if your why is strong enough, and and your vision is clear enough, there's no quitting. There's no giving up. I've said this earlier. It's identifying the obstacles and putting them on record here for myself in the future, is for myself in the future. It's not in any way to say that I'm not going to overcome it, or that I'm not going to, or that I'm going to give up along the way. The path may look different, but we're getting there. So, and it's making progress anyway, regardless of all that. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at this week. So we'll leave it at that. We'll try to keep these a little bit shorter, for multiple reasons, because I got stuff I got to do. But I thank you so much for watching these. If you are actually watching these, and you're here, on these optional viewing ones, I really do appreciate it. I know that I ramble a little bit. Hopefully it's value to you. Hopefully you can personalize it and apply it to your own world. But thank you very, very much for joining me. And I hope that, that whichever direction we go from here, we're definitely going to do some more prompts this coming week. I don't know if we'll do one every day. It's called a daily prompt, so I probably should. But I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to play out just because of what's going on. But this will persist. At some point, this will actually be the show that I had in mind for it, rather than just be me talking to camera like this the whole time. We'll get there. So I thank you very much for joining me on this ride. And I would love to say hello in the comments if you have anything that you'd like to say or share or tell me or whatever. Other than that, have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Thanks for watching.